Ladies and men, there are a lot of sexual predators out there. But of course, you know that. What you probably don't know is that these sexual predators sometimes wear blue uniforms with shields, badges, and guns. I was asked to do this video by one of my subscribers, and I apologize to him because it took me a while to be able to come up with enough information in order to put a decent video together. But I found enough clips that it makes sense both by nature and time-wise. I'm going to show you a compilation of videos on dirty cops that rape women. Here is the first one.
Has uncovered video showing a woman claiming a court-martial sexually assaulted her. She later was arrested by that same marshal, who has since been fired. The I-Team's Nathan Baca here now to show us how an internal affairs investigation is revealing much larger problems at family court.
Well, Dave, it's not just one single case. There's multiple marshals involved and allegations ranging from sexual assaults to choking a citizen in court. This investigation begins with a 2011 video we've uncovered showing family court marshals arresting a woman because she claimed one of them sexually assaulted her. A warning, some of the details of the story may be disturbing to some.
So I'm just going to close the case out and dissolve the order. All right, thank you. Okay.
Monica Contreras came to family court with her 2-year-old daughter. She was in court for only a few minutes on a routine divorce case. According to internal court documents reviewed by the I-Team, family court marshal Ron Fox ordered Contreras into a waiting room by herself for an unexplainable drug search. Contreras says Marshal Fox touched her buttocks, breast, and ordered her to lift up her shirt. A later internal investigation validated her claims. Contreras went right back into the same courtroom to tell hearing master Patricia Donninger her requests to have a female marshal search her were ignored.
I think I'd rather have a female and he went in here I was just offended by this. I'm just offended that he asked me to do that.
Okay, so the story stands. Handcuffed.
Contreras pleads as Marshal James Kenyon begins to arrest her.
What, sir?
Hold on.
Okay, why would I be arrested? Can you please tell me?
Turn around, put your hands behind your
Can
back.
you please tell me?
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. False allegations made against a police officer, so...
We looked and could find no law supporting that arrest, let alone any law allowing an alleged sexual assault victim to be arrested by the alleged assaulter.
Jimmy, I got court. I still have to do this, so... Arrest her. I take the kid.
Why would you do that to me, sir?
Because you're making
I'm
false
not making
allegations.
false
After repeated attempts by marshals to get Contreras to recant her story, she breaks down.
Let me go, please. Let me go. It was all lies. I don't want to tell anything. It was all lies. All lies. All lies. All lies. Please stop.
We can do this the easy way. We can do this to her.
Marshal Fox tells Contreras the only way she can avoid jail is to step up to the microphone and recant. Contreras agrees, but does the opposite.
You asked me to look through my shirt without a witness. You asked me to look through the shirt without a witness.
For 4 minutes, Contreras pleaded to hearing master Patricia Donninger to hear her. Donninger didn't look at the alleged sexual assault victim, deciding instead to play with Contreras' daughter.
How could you do this to me? How could you watch? How could you watch?
Contreras' 2-year-old daughter confronts the marshals arresting her mother.
He said, can you please look at my shirt without a witness? And I said, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Contreras kisses her daughter before being sent to jail. Her young daughter sent to Child Haven. 2 months later, Contreras filed a complaint with Court-Martial Internal Affairs. Sources tell the I-Team investigators were shocked. They never heard of the alleged courthouse sexual assault from Family Court Lieutenant Steve Rushfield. After a 6-month Internal Affairs investigation, Marshal Ron Fox was fired. Nobody from Clark County told Monica Contreras that. She found out because we found her. Contreras asked that we blur her face.
I just hope I did the right thing by telling Internal Affairs. It makes me feel good because
Now I know that I was right.
We went to the top of Clark County Court Administration. They released a statement reading, "Court personnel are prohibited from commenting on the video because it's a personnel matter. When the actions of any district court employee are called into question, the court immediately responds by conducting a fair, thorough investigation and upon completion, taking appropriate action." Even though Marshall Fox was fired, sources told the I-Team Clark County is widening its investigation into why this incident and a growing number of assault allegations were never reported by family court management to internal affairs. Marshal Ron Fox maintains his innocence and is suing Clark County for wrongful termination. His attorney declined an on-camera interview, but in court filings claims the marshal's arrest was just because nobody in the courtroom tried to stop him. With the entire 6-minute courtroom video, that's on our website. Hard to watch, especially the little girl.
Now, that was wrong on so many levels. Number one, the judge. How the fuck does a female judge not listen to another woman who's making sexual abuse allegations? Not only did she not listen, she turned her back on that woman. Now, just so that you know, that judge was dismissed, so she's no longer a judge. But there was a huge uproar regarding her behavior in that particular court. Number two, that fat-ass, pig-ass cop turned around and arrested this woman. He didn't even know the law. There is no law about arresting someone for making a false allegation against a police officer. So not only do you have a law enforcement officer sexually abusing someone, but the court itself, i.e. the judge, basically turned a blind eye to the whole thing. Now, there were numerous attempts to interview that judge, and obviously she turned down all of the requests. And when they basically dismissed her ass, there, I'm assuming, was a rousing round of applause. Now, here's the next one.
Well, Hope Steffi has sued the Stark County Sheriff, accusing deputies of using excessive and brutal force. The sheriff denies the allegation. Now, this story may be hard to watch, but the victim and her husband want me to show you what happened in hopes that you and those you love will never experience a night like this. Hope Steffi is scared to death. Her husband, a high school educator, I want to show you this, okay? Can't believe what he's watching on videotape as Stark County Sheriff deputies pin his wife down to a jail cell floor.
You don't treat people like this. I don't think murderers are treated like this.
Steffi weighs 125 pounds. She's in handcuffs, face down. Yet her lawyers say up to 7 individuals working for the sheriff or jail are in the cell. Both women and men deputies forcibly remove all her clothes.
Two males holding her down as she is butt naked. That's wrong.
The video, obtained exclusively by Channel 3 News, gives us a rare inside look at what can happen to you or a loved one, even if you're the one who calls police for help. What did she say?
She said she felt like she was raped without penetration.
Now, just to give you a little background on that particular story, this lady was at her home and she had given a party. Her cousin, who was, let us say, inebriated, started a fight with her. Believing that she was doing the right thing, she called the police to get her cousin out of there. The police, happy campers that they were, decided that she needed to be arrested. She asked them why was she being arrested. She was the one that called them. It was her house, and it was her cousin that was creating the disturbance. Well, for whatever reason, they decided that they were going to arrest her anyway. They take her to jail. They put her in a cell, and for some inexplicable reason, 5 people, 2 males and 3 females, decide to remove all of her clothes. Now, I don't know about you, but in my opinion, those 3 females must be a bunch of lesbians, because they had no empathy for this woman, and they never did explain why they had to remove all of her clothes and leave her butt naked on the floor. So again, when you call the police, you better be careful, especially you ladies, because if they like what you look like, you may end up in jail, stripped down to nothing by males and females who want to get their jollies. Now, here's another story that I came off, and this one has a really interesting twist.
Ex-hero cop who was charged with raping 2 women at gunpoint. Richard DeCoatsworth was arraigned tonight, and Kenneth Moten was in court and now joins us from police headquarters. And Kenneth, the judge set a very high bail.
Prosecutors say Richard DeCoatsworth used his old job here to terrorize women, threaten to blow up their houses, get them arrested, even kill them. That's why Police Commissioner Charles Ramsey and District Attorney Seth Williams requested no bail. Instead, the judge set it at $60 million. If the allegations against ex-Philadelphia hero cop Richard DeCoatsworth are true, his turbulent fall from grace just hit rock bottom. Investigators say the man who once sat next to First Lady Michelle Obama during a presidential address drugged women, forced them.
Now, the twist was, how the hell did the Obamas not vet this guy? Okay? And yes, you know, a few minor things should have slipped under the radar, but the behavior of this individual should have drawn red flags left, right, up, and down. Yet, this guy gets a seat next to Nancy Obama? Really? Secret Service, you guys need to get on your job a little bit harder.
Them into prostitution and rape them.
I think since he got shot, he's not the same person, that's all. That's all I can tell you.
DeCoatsworth first made headlines when he ran after a gunman who shot him in the face in West Philadelphia in 2007. Early Saturday morning, police raided his Salmon Street home and took him into custody, accusing him of forcing 2 women to get high on heroin and commit sex acts at gunpoint. Investigators say it happened early Thursday morning at an undisclosed location after DeCoatsworth left a party with the victims on the 1800 block of North Howard Street in Kensington. He's been charged with rape, promoting prostitution, indecent exposure, carrying a gun without a license, and the list goes on.
Now, that looks like a bad boy to me, okay? That looks like a thug, by definition. So, there's another one for you. All right, now here's a favorite for you guys if you've been keeping touch with Oklahoma. This one's on Daniel Holtzclaw.
And police say that officer had been preying on women for at least 5 months, and tonight he sits in the county jail behind me. As early as February, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw has been accused of sexually assaulting women after a traffic stop in Oklahoma City.
Several of them that he did transport the victims to another location and then perform the acts. Again, out of all of them, there was only one case of intercourse. It almost seemed like it was escalating with him, over a period of time.
Officer Daniel Holtzclaw has been with the Oklahoma City Police Department for 3 years. He worked for the Spring Lake Division from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. The police say all the incidents occurred during his shifts. There are 7 victims total in a 5 to 6 month period. All the victims were middle-aged black women. The women say they were required to expose themselves, perform oral sodomy, were fondled, and in one case actually have sex. The charges include rape in the first degree, rape by instrumentation, indecent exposure, sexual battery, and forced oral sodomy. Holtzclaw's from Enid and was arrested around 3 p.m. in the parking lot of an Oklahoma City Gold's Gym. Several African-American community leaders are now calling for a thorough investigation.
We have some good officers on the force, but yet, as we see today, we have a problem when it comes to African Americans and the police officers.
Oklahoma City Police calls Holtzclaw's actions appalling and taints the entire department.
Now, for those of you who didn't really keep up with this, the ultimate number of women that accused Holtzclaw of rape or sexual misconduct ended up being close to 39, if I'm not mistaken. They only convicted him of 13 of the sexual assaults on the 39 women. But he did get over 200 years in jail, so again, another instance of a police officer obviously overstepping his bounds and taking advantage of women. And in this particular case, this guy only liked black women. Now here's another one locally in Dallas.
As a Dallas police officer, a man sworn to uphold the law is arrested, accused of raping a woman while on duty. We first told you about this earlier this evening. Since we left you at 6, we now have a mugshot of Officer LaCorey Johnson. Channel 8's Teresa Woodard is live tonight with the very latest on this story.
LaCorey Johnson is here in jail on a $25,000 bond. He is accused of a felony and of abusing the public's trust. What police say happened in this dead-end circle could shake a community to its core. With any sexual assault, the victim's going to have lasting damage from that attack. But in this particular case, the damage extends beyond the victim and impacts the entire public. Dallas attorney Kimberly Priest Johnson is not involved in this case, but she's outraged by it. 28-year-old LaCorey Johnson, a Dallas police officer since 2009, is charged with sexual assault. According to the arrest affidavit on Larga Drive near Bogman Lake on a Monday in September 2013, Johnson detained a woman and a man, ordered the man to leave, and told the woman to get in the back seat of his marked car because she had an outstanding warrant. The affidavit says he told her she could avoid going to jail if she did what he told her to do. According to that affidavit, Johnson then drove the woman to the dead-end circle around the corner on Story Lane behind an apartment complex, got in the back seat, took off his gun belt, laid it beside them, and committed rape.
When it's by a police officer on a citizen, while that police officer's on duty in a marked car, pulling someone over, seeking this out, it's just at the top of egregiousness.
The affidavit says Johnson dropped off the victim on nearby Clydesdale Drive, and she walked home.
The victim reported this assault in October. The Internal Affairs Unit began its investigation Friday, brought Johnson in for questioning today. He resigned and he was arrested at DPD headquarters. Live in Dallas.
Right, so there's another one for you. On duty, sees something that he likes, kicks the male out so he can have his way with the female, threatens her with arrest unless she lets him do her.
Of sexual assault against a person in custody.
Now, former Riverdale police officer James Larry Robinson Jr. shook his head in disagreement as Clayton County Chief Magistrate Judge Wanda Dallas explained the serious charges he faces.
The second charge, sir, is rape.
Robinson, a married father of 5, was fired after a woman under arrest claimed he sexually assaulted her last month.
You did have carnal knowledge of a female forcibly and against her will.
After the woman filed a complaint, Riverdale police asked the GBI to investigate. The agency found enough evidence to arrest Robinson.
This particular inmate was in custody and en route from Riverdale Police Department on the way to Clayton County Jail.
That's when the woman claims Robinson pulled up next to this empty building near a custom tire shop on Terra Boulevard and assaulted her. Workers at the tire shop told me as soon as the woman was released, she came by and was upset and asked if they had security cameras. Robinson didn't speak in court. His attorney didn't address the allegations. The GBI did inform me that Robinson is now out of a job.
Riverdale Police Department yesterday did terminate Officer Robinson.
All right, now this last story is a story of a woman who called police because she had an issue with her daughter being out of the house. And now I'm going to read this particular story to you as there really isn't a lot of, well, there wasn't any video that I actually could find about it. Woman sues after upstate New York cop avoids rape charges, says she was forced into having sex. She called the police to report her teenage daughter missing, and hours later, Maletra Montanez was being compelled by the responding officer to have sex with him in her living room. Whoa, 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 whoa. We don't have to do this, Montanez, 40 years old, said. She pleaded with Syracuse police officer Chester Thompson, 47, during the alleged encounter on Valentine's Day, 2015. The officer, according to sworn testimony, the officer, according to a sworn deposition Montanez gave in February, ignored her pleas. She gave the Daily News permission to use her name, and she is identified in court papers. The veteran cop initially forced the mother of four to perform oral sex and then ordered her to get a condom from an adjacent bedroom. When she returned, Thompson demanded she turn around, looking right at her newborn son, while he raped her from behind, according to a sworn court deposition Montanez gave in February, obtained exclusively by the News. A day after the incident occurred, she went to the hospital and reported it to Syracuse police. Thompson was arrested and criminally charged in March. In December 2015, he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of official misconduct for having sex with Montanez and another woman in 3 unrelated incidents while on duty. He was booted off the police force and sentenced to 3 years of probation under the agreement. He skated away with what amounts to a slap on the wrist without jail time, according to Montanez. She protested outside the courtroom when the sentence was formally announced. Syracuse Assistant District Attorney Jeremy Calley has said he believes Montanez was intimidated and scared during the meeting. But an apparent quirk in New York state law protects police officers from being charged with rape unless the alleged victim expressly says no and refuses. Still, Montanez and his supporters believe the DA should have done more. I believe a rape took place in this case, said her civil lawyer Ed Servin. The law defines forcible compulsion as a threat, express or implied, he noted. Thompson did not return calls seeking comment, reportedly admitted to having sex with Montanez and the other woman while on duty, but he claimed it was consensual. Montanez pointed out that she had never met him before the encounter and was ordered by her doctor to abstain from sex because she had recently given birth. Her nightmare began after she called 911 to report her teenage daughter missing during a family dispute. There's a picture of this prick. Outside her front door, she saw Thompson, a white officer in uniform, fidgeting wildly, Montanez, who is black, testified. When I opened the door, he told me that I was pretty, Montanez recalled. Still, she tried to calm him by pointing out no one else, aside from the newborn, was home to be worried about. I thought he was afraid. There might be a black man or somebody, I guess in the house. That didn't help. He couldn't stand still, she said. He just kept moving, biting on the bottom of his lip. The sexual advances began immediately, she alleges. Thompson told her she was pretty, her butt was big, and that her lips looked like a can hold, like it could hold a penis, according to her deposition. He then allegedly began to rub his private parts with his hands while he looked at a photo of a younger Montanez near the couch. After a brief phone call with her sister, Montanez said Thompson removed his penis and ordered her to perform oral sex. All I know is I said, "Whoa," she recalled. "I noticed on his penis he had a mark on his testicle and he had a mark on his penis, like a mole or a sore or something." Jesus Christ. They were interrupted when a neighbor came over to help clean the apartment, Montanez said, but Thompson answered the door and told the man to come back later because she was busy filing a police report. She should have screamed blue murder then. When the man left, he ordered her to frisk me and during the pat-down moved her hand over his pants-covered penis. He asked me, do I love my son, Montanez testified. So I had an idea of maybe what was going to happen. She thought about trying to choke him to death, but decided against it due to fear she'd be unable to choke him tight enough. "I had millions of thoughts in my mind, but I didn't do it," she said. Thompson then demanded she get a condom from her bedroom. "We don't have to do this," she reportedly pleaded through tears. "He put the condom on and told me to face my son, to look at my son," she said. Before leaving, Thompson noted he had a wife and children and asked several times if she was going to report him. During the encounter, Montanez said she kept on looking at Thompson's gun. Still, she has blamed herself for not fighting back. "I can't accept it," she said. "I can't accept it because I feel like I should have done more, and I can't accept that I just didn't do more." "Why didn't I stab him?" she said. "Why didn't I scream out my front door? Why did I do nothing?" She's not the only civilian to accuse an officer of rape or other sexual misconduct. A year-long investigation by the Associated Press found over 1,000 police officers nationwide were kicked off the force over the past 6 years for offenses including rape, sexual assault, and possession of child pornography. The actual number of cases is believed to be higher, but it's difficult to track because comprehensive data does not exist. On Thursday, Montanez filed a $7 million suit against Thompson and several higher-ups in the Syracuse Police Department. The suit alleges Thompson had a known history of abuses and should have been reviewed earlier. The case was first reported by Syracuse.com. "We've had information from several sources that this is not the first time that Chester Thompson has engaged in this type of malfeasance," her lawyer Sylvan said, "and it appears that this may have been going on for a period of years, and that people high up in the Syracuse Police Department knew about it and didn't take prompt remedial measures against him." Thompson's criminal lawyer, the Syracuse District Attorney, and the Syracuse Police Department did not return calls seeking comment. So that's the last piece that I'm going to do. But please just be aware, there are a lot of sexual predators out there, and not all of them are regular or irregular people. Some of them have on uniforms with badges and guns. Dealing with them could be a very risky proposition.